Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
today we will discuss on just a basic function thing like what is materials management and what are the importance of materials management. Okay, in an organization and what it deals with. Okay. So basically, SAP, as you know, it is an ERP tool. What is an ERP? ERP. Hello.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not
It's a
asking about
resource tool.
abbreviation. Yeah, I'm not asking about abbreviation. I'm asking about what is ERP. ERP is nothing but our day-to-day for a business. What are the required things needs to be focused. Like if you have a business, you will be focusing on finance part, procurement part, okay, and the sales parts. All these things will be all together clubbed and it is brought into one together in a integration thing. Okay, that is done through ERP. And in ERP we have one of the tool, or we can say one of the software is SAP. We have many softwares, other softwares in ERP like Oracle, okay, PeopleSoft. There are many things, but why basically people choose SAP? Due to its integration. Okay, it easily integrates with all the other modules as well as other technologies as well. Okay, so in SAP we have different modules, each has their own role. Okay, so today we are with SAP MM means materials management. Okay, so in materials management in SAP we have different structures for every module. Okay, so if you catch materials management, in materials management we have organization data, okay, master data, okay, and material procurement process, either it is material or services, whatever it might be, procurement process, and inventory management, and logistics invoice verification. Okay, these are the main parts in materials management. Okay, organization structure, master data is common for all the modules. Okay, but they are different in each of their module. If you take sales and SD, that is sales and distribution module, for them master data will be customer master. Same way in materials management, for us master data will be vendor master, right? Okay, so this is how the materials management looks like. Okay, we have master data. In master data we have various other data needs to be created in SAP. It's a material master, we have vendor master, we have purchase info records, we have source list. Okay, so why basically master data required? Any of you can tell me why master data is required? Okay, so master data, what it
Master
captures
data
mostly? Yeah, tell me, please go on.
store to store information of vendor, customer, or material, etc.
Yeah, to store all the details in one go. Okay, each and every time we
All the
cannot enter all the descriptions, all the details. Okay, whenever we require that material. So in that case, we create one master record where we enter only one time and store it in table level. Okay, and that will generate a code. Every master data will have their unique code. Okay, and moreover in materials management, if you want a material to be inventorized means if you want to see the stock, if you are procuring a material and you want it to see it as a stock. Okay, in such case you want master data is mandatory. Okay, so after master data we will have PRs is nothing but your indent. Okay, generally this indent terminology is used in business word. Okay, whenever there is a requirement of material or services, the user will raise an indent. Okay, we call it in SAP as a purchase requisition. Okay, so once the purchase requisition is created, okay, and it will go to the approvals because it should be a genuine requirement, right? So that should be checked by some other person who can authorize that the requirement is genuine. Okay, So that will be going to either their HOD or their managers, respective department heads. Okay, once it is approved, then it will go to the buyers. Buyers in sense the purchase department who sits in their head office or their corporate office. Okay, who are deals with procurement of materials and services. Clear? Then what this purchase department do or the buyer does, they will go to the market and they will request the vendors who are eligible or who can provide that particular material and services to provide the quotation. Okay, then once the quotation is provided by the vendor, then they feed it into the system. Once the quotation is feeded, then the purchase head will evaluate the quotations and he will choose the best vendor. Okay, and the purchase order will be given to that vendor who is selected as the best vendor for the organization. And again, as we have approvals for purchase requisitions, we will also have approval for purchase orders. Once it is finally approved, then this purchase order will be sent to vendor. Okay, again this purchase order can be sent through mail or it can also be sent through systems, third party systems. Okay, like a vendor might use some software. Okay, and that software, if it is connected to SAP, once the PO is released, okay, once the PO is released, that will be sent to his system automatically. This is done through integration. Okay, by development interface. This is an interface. Okay, then once the purchase order is received, vendor acknowledges it that he has received this order and he will be providing this materials on so and so date. Once he confirms that date, again in SAP, if the vendor's software system is connected with SAP, then that confirmation will get updated in the purchase order. Okay, in purchase order, we'll have a confirmation tab where these all details will be captured. Okay, once the delivery date is reached, then materials will receive at our factory or at our required location, and the warehouse user will post a goods receipt for this, or you can say material receipt for the material which is received. Okay, then next part comes the accounts part where they need to do the payment for the vendor invoice. Okay, so this is the whole cycle of procure to pay, right from purchase requisition to logistics invoice verification. This whole cycle is called procure to pay. Any doubts you have? Money, because I believe other people are much aware with SAP.
Yeah, no,
So money,
not
you have any doubts?
no, no, not.
No. Okay. So this is the procure to pay cycle, which I just now told you. We'll have PRs. Again, the approvals will be there for the PRs. Okay, then we have quotations, and the quotations are maintained. Then comparison of quotations happen. Then the purchase head will do the selection, and PO will be provided to the best vendor. Again, as we have PR approvals, we'll also have a PO approval. Once the PO is finally approved, then it will go to the vendor, and once the materials are received at our location, we'll have goods receipt. If the material is is related to quality inspection, then it will go for quality inspection, and afterwards we'll have final part, that is vendor invoice, logistics invoice verification. Okay, next, organization structure. Again, organization structure is related for every other modules as well. Okay, every module have their own organization structure. In SAP materials management, organization structure of materials management is plant, storage location, purchase organization, and purchase group. So all you know what is a plant? A plant can be a manufacturing unit or a warehouse where we store the materials. And further bifurcation of this warehouse or you can say plant will be storage locations, actual place where we keep the materials. Okay, and next is purchase organization. Purchase organization is nothing but the purchasing department who sits in head office or in their corporate offices responsible for procurement process. Then the purchase group. Purchase group is nothing but a buyers of different divisions. Like in again a purchase procurement team will be further bifurcated into other parts. Like some group of people will be related to procure admin related things, and some people will be related to procure raw materials. Okay, that is further bifurcation, purchase groups. So this is the organization structure in SAP MM: plant, storage location, purchase organization, and purchase group. And one more thing, valuation of the material is always at plant level. Okay. Master data, as I said, we have material master, service master. Okay, info record. So in material master, what we'll have all the descriptions. Okay, and unit of measurements. Okay, what is the shelf life of a particular material, and how many delivery days it might take to receive that material once the order is raised. Okay, and what is the value of the material? Everything will be captured in this master data, that is material master. And these are the different views in material master: basic data, material planning related to MRP. Okay, if the material is related to MRP or not. Okay, then plant level or storage location level data means what is the shelf life of a material. All these things will be maintained in this screen. Then the accounting screen. In this accounting screen, we will maintain the value of the material. Okay, and what is the valuation class. Okay, what is valuation class, you will come to know in upcoming classes, but that will be maintained in accounting screen. If the material is related to quality management, then we have to extend even quality management. As a consultant, it is our responsibility to activate all these screens based on the material types. All the screens are not required for different material types. Suppose if I take a finished material, for finished material we do not require a purchasing view, because it is a finished material. We will be producing it in our own plant. Same way, for material which is raw material, we do not require sales view, because we are not selling it, we are procuring it and consuming it. So this is the responsibility of a consultant to configure the screens, which material type, which screen should appear. All these things a consultant does. Okay. And this is a screenshot of a material master. You can see different screen views are there here: basic data, classification, sales, organization data, purchasing data, MRP. Okay, this is an example screenshot I have taken. As you have material master, for services also you will have a service master. Okay, service master is nothing but like your AMC work things, or if you're if it is a mining company. Okay, then for transporting that mining material, either it might be some iron ore. Okay, for transporting that iron ore from the quarry to your plant. Okay, for transporting that the transportation service. Okay, you will be giving to some other third party. So in that case also you need a service master for transportation. Okay, in that case also we will be using service master. Okay, in some cases, like if you are if you are having a big plant, in that annual AMC is required. Either it might be quarterly or half yearly. For such things also you will be creating a service master. Or for suppose if you are taking a support from some third party uh, IT company for supporting your software systems, for that also you will be requiring a service master. Okay, Money, is it clear?
Yes.
This is an example screenshot of your service master. Unlike material master, you will have only one screen in service master, where you need to enter material group and the valuation class and the description of the service. Next important master data is purchase info record. What is a purchase info record? A purchase info record is a linking between your vendor and the material which is supplied by that particular vendor. Okay, what does it contains? It contains for what price the material is being provided by the vendor, and how much discount you are getting from that vendor, okay, and how many delivery days it will take to deliver the material by that particular vendor, okay, and what are the taxes if it is there, what are the taxes related to that material procurement. All these details will be maintained in purchase info record. Once you maintain this purchase info record while creating a purchase order with the combination of that particular vendor and material, all these details will be automatically gets copied into your purchase order screen. Okay, so that is the importance of your purchase info record. Not only that, if you want to create the POs automatically by the system, for that also purchase info record is one of the settings required. Apart from purchase info record, you will also have another master data, that is source list. What does source list has? In source list, for a particular material, how many vendors are available to provide the materials? Okay, that data will be maintained in source list. Next comes the material procurement. As I said, material procurement, there will be some demand or requirement from the end user who sits in the plant. Then what he does, he will simply raise a request using SAP. Okay, once the request is raised, then it will go to his head of department to validate whether the requirement is genuine or not. Once he validates, validation is nothing but your approval in SAP. He approves that PR, then it will go to the purchase department. Then the purchase department will check if there are any approved PRs. If there are any approved PRs, then they will go for the quotations. If it is first time procurement for that particular material. If it is a regular procurement of a material with the vendor, then they will simply create a PO. If it is being procured first time from particular vendors, then they will raise the quotations, okay, and they'll ask the vendors to provide their quotations, and once the quotations are received, they will maintain the quotation in SAP. After maintaining, the purchase head or the procurement head will do the comparison of the quotation and he will select the best vendor, and then purchase order will be given to that particular best vendor. Okay, once the purchase order is created, then it will go for approvals by different departments, like procurement division head also might release the PO, and the finance head also might release the PO. Once all the PO is released, final released, then it will go to the vendor through mails or through EDI. I mean by interfaces, or it can also be sent through manual. Manually, he will download the copy of the purchase order and he will send it through mail. Okay, then we'll have goods receipt. Once the material is sent by the vendor, we'll post a goods receipt in SAP, and for the material which is sent, we'll post a invoice, that is logistics invoice verification. Okay, if then comes the outline agreement. Outline agreement is nothing but if you want to make a long-term relationship with the vendor, okay, you feel that particular vendor is providing the best material, best quality material with the best price, and you want to maintain a long-term relationship with him, then you'll go for an outline agreement. Okay, this outline agreement further bifurcates into two different parts. One is contract and the other one is scheduling agreement. A contract will have value contract or a quantity contract. Suppose he will give a contract for suppose the 10 lakh per a year. I need a supply of this material worth of 10 lakh. Okay, that will be a value contract. If in a year I want 10,000 tons of so and so material, that will be a quantity contract. Okay, this is contract. Then in outline agreement, another part I said it is scheduling agreement. Scheduling agreement, what is the difference? In scheduling agreement, you will define the delivery dates in a year. In which year how many quantity is required. Like in January month, the production will be high. Then I will be requiring 1,000 tons. In February month, I might require 500 tons. Okay, you will define the deliveries of this particular material for a whole year. This is scheduling agreement. Okay, this is about outline agreement. So in outline agreement, we have two different types. One is contract and one is scheduling agreement. Okay, again in contract, we'll have value contract and quantity contract. Clear? Money clear? Any doubts?
No. It's
That is scheduling agreement. Yes.
Yeah, scheduling agreement is nothing but, see, you will give a vendor a contract for 1 year, but you will be defining the delivery dates, everything
Dates.
for a
Yes.
year. So and so year
Yes.
I need this much quantity. Okay, you will be defining the schedule lines. That is nothing but your schedule lines. Okay.
Yes.
So purchase orders, whenever we require I mean, whenever you require material, you will procure from external vendor, then you will raise a purchase order. In purchase order, we will be having one field called account assignment. Okay, you can see on screen account assignment. There are different account assignment: asset, sales order, internal order, customer requirement, production order, cost center, project. Okay, what all this account assignments will tell you what is the purpose of your procurement, what you are procuring, why you are procuring. Okay, if it is a asset, you will select the asset procurement. If you are procuring it for a sales, then you will select a sales order procurement. Okay, so account assignment will tell you the purpose of procurement. Okay, if it is a standard procurement, then you will leave it blank. Okay, then another field you will also have is item category. In item category, you will have services, subcontracting, third party, like things. Okay, so item category will tell you which type of procurement you're doing. Account assignment will tell you purpose of procurement. Clear? I said about the outline agreement. We have contract, and we have scheduling agreement. Again, contract is divided into value contract, quantity contract. Okay. This is the PR screen. I said account assignment. You see here account assignment. A means account assignment. I means item category. If A is blank, then it is a standard procurement. You're procuring standard procurement. In I, if you see some terminology like D, okay, D for services, L for subcontracting, okay, that, which tells you the type of procurement. Okay, this is general screen of purchase requisition. You can see this material is being procured, and it has 3-level releases: one by procurement executive, then the procurement head, and procurement VP. These all validations happen once the final release by procurement VP is done. Only then only then the procurement team will feel this is a genuine requirement, and they will convert this PR to PO. PO is nothing but purchase order. See, this is the quotation comparison screen where the procurement head will have the access to. He will do the comparison, and he will select the best quotation from this comparison, and he will select the vendor. And for that vendor, they will supply the purchase order. This is purchase order. You can see. See here, the account assignment is blank. That means it is a standard procurement. Okay, you're not procuring for some asset, you're not procuring it for some sales order. Okay, you have different see condition types here: discounts, P&F charges, service taxes, everything. Okay, these all can be maintained in your info record, purchase info record. Once you maintain in the purchase info record with the combination of your material and the vendor, all the details will be captured into PO automatically. There is no need to enter manually. This will be copied automatically. Okay, why we maintain master data? Another purpose is to eradicate manual intervention. Manual intervention will lead to errors. So to eradicate that one, we will be creating master data as well. See, PO also has a release. This is a 4-level release. Okay, once the PO is finally released by VP projects, then this PO will be sent to the vendor. Only then it will be a valid PO. Okay, special procurements. In SAP, we have special procurements based on your business, like consignment, subcontracting, stock transfers, third party. So consignment, what is consignment? In consignment process, materials which you are required, okay, vendor will supply that material in bulk, and he will unload it in our premises. Okay, as on when required, we will be taking that material from that premises to our own location and will consume it. And for the material which is consumed, only for that you will do the payment partly. Okay. So what is consignment? In consignment, vendor will dump the material in our location, and as on when required, we will be consuming it, and for the consuming material only, we'll do the payment. This is consignment process. Next, moving to next one is subcontracting. In subcontracting, what happens is, suppose your production overload has happened, or you can say production is not having that much capacity to produce the materials which are received with the extra orders. In that case, what you do, you will give the raw materials and other components which are required for producing that finished material to some other supplier. Okay, and he will convert that raw materials and uh, other materials to finished material, and he will give it to you. So in subcontracting, what happening? You are providing the input materials. Input materials means raw materials to the vendor, and what vendor does? Vendor will convert it to finished material and he will send it back to us, and we'll do the payment for that particular service. This is called subcontracting process. Next comes stock transfer. The name itself tells you stock transfer is nothing but when is a requirement in one plant, and you have that particular material available in another plant in lump sum. In that case, you can just transfer the material from the plant which has a lump sum amount to requirement plant. This is stock transfer. And final thing is third party. In third party, what you do, you will get the order from customer. Okay, and in return you will give that order to some other vendor, and you will ask that vendor to supply directly to the customer. So what you're doing here, you're just taking the order and giving that order to some other vendor and asking that vendor to supply it to the customer location. Okay, and what you do, you will take the payment from customer, and you will just do the payment to the vendor for the material which is supplied. This is third party process. So special procurement types, is it clear, all of you?
Please explain about the consignment.
Yes.
Consignment, yeah. Consignment is nothing but, now I will take an example of a steel plant. Okay, in steel plant, what is the major material required? It's coal, right? Coal is the major material which is required for the plant to run, right? So you cannot raise each and every time PO for the vendor to provide this much quantity. Sometimes it might require excess also. We cannot predict. In that case, what you will do, you will create a consignment PO. Okay, and vendor, what he will do, he will dump the material in your plant location. Okay, and as on when required, you will be taking that material, you will taking that coal and consuming it. Okay, partly, and for the consuming coal only, you will do the payment. Monthly you will do payment, or half yearly, quarterly, whatever it is. Is it clear now?
Yes, no.
Okay, you are not paying for the whole material which is dumped in your location. You will just do the payment for the material which you are consuming it. Okay.
Yes.
Stock transfer order, as I said, it will also have a PO. Once the PO is received at a receiving plant, then the supplying plant will do goods issue, and once the material is received at receiving plant, then he will post a goods receipt. Here there will be no transfer of value. There will be only transportation cost. If it is a third party service provider who is providing the transportation, then there will be only transportation cost being involved here. Again, in STOs, we will have different types of STOs as well. One is intercompany and the other one is intra-company. Intra-company STO means you will have one company. Under one company, you will have different plants, and between these plants, you are doing the transfer. Okay. In some cases, you will have two different company codes. Okay. Then you will be transferring the material from one plant to another plant of two different company codes. Then this is called intercompany. Okay. Intercompany STO and intracompany STO. Service procurement, as you do the material procurement, you will do the same for the services as well, and you will do the payment for the services as well. That is through invoice verification. We call it as a LIV, logistics invoice verification. This is the services. You can see this is account assignment P. P means project. Here item category is D. D means services. What it tells you, you are taking a service. Okay, you require a service for a project. P means project. Okay, you can identify in that way as well. Okay, so in account assignment P, you are taking project, then you have to give a project description in the account assignment tab over here. Okay, and D is services. D means services. See, if you keep D here, you will get a new tab, services tab, and you need to enter the service number. Okay, service master data number which you created. As you have goods receipt for materials, you will have service entry sheet for the services. Okay, next is inventory management. Inventory management, what it is happen? Inventory management generally deals with the incoming and outgoing of materials and how you store the materials in your warehouse. Okay, and physical inventory process. Physical inventory process is nothing but your tallying the materials with the books and with the system. Okay, this all will be captured in inventory management. In SAP, this movement of materials will be captured through movement types. Okay, and the movement types are of a 3-digit numeric code. 3-digit numeric code provided by SAP. Seeing the movement types, you can come to know what type of movement it is. For suppose if it is a 101 movement, we can say it is a goods receipt. Okay, incoming. And if you say here, you can see 101 movement, it is a goods receipt for purchase order. Same way, if it is a 201, 201 means consumption. Okay, that means goods issue for a cost center. Okay, you will come to know further, but just to your understanding, whatever goods movement happens in warehouse, that will be captured in SAP through movement type, which is 3-digit numeric code. This is goods receipt screen, which we call it as a MIGO screen. Okay, you will have delivery note number, and if it is an import material receipt, then you will have bill of lading number to enter. Okay, in which plant you are procuring and in which storage location you are storing that materials received. All these details will be captured in goods receipt screen. So goods issue, that means consumption. Goods issue can be happen against the cost center, or if it is a production, if there is a production requirement, we'll create a production order. Okay, and for the production order also we can issue the materials. Okay, or for suppose you're taking a AMC for a plant. Okay, and for that particular maintenance you require a material spare parts. That time also, against the maintenance order also, you will be consuming the materials. Okay, all this will have different movement types in SAP. Reservation. So reservation is nothing but reservation is nothing but you will give this will help the planner to plan accordingly how much material he needs to procure or how much material he needs to store in a warehouse. Okay, based on the reservation also he can plan accordingly the requirement of a material. Okay, once the materials are available in his system or in the warehouse, he will issue the materials with reference to reservation or against the reservation. Reservation can be created with reference to a cost center, or it can also be created automatically by the system through production orders. Okay. Transfer postings. Transfer postings generally happen within the plant. If you have different storage locations and you want to transfer this material from one storage location to another storage location, you will use transfer posting. As well as if you have two different plants side by side and you want to move the material from one plant to another plant, then you will not create a STO. Rather, you will create a transfer posting. You will transfer it through transfer posting. Okay. And some cases, if you have a material in quality inspection and you want to move it in unrestricted use, you will use a transfer posting process. Physical inventory, I believe all of you know physical inventory. Generally, business uses this process monthly or quarterly or half yearly or annually based on the value of the material. Okay, it is basically to match the materials in the system with your books which is maintained. Okay, general stock which is available physically to match that physical stock with your system stock. In that case, you will follow physical inventory process. We'll have general reports. There are many reports in SAP to see the stock, to see the open purchase orders, to see the transfers. I mean, stock in transfers which are in transit. Okay, to see the list of service entry sheets, to see the list of materials which are procured for a particular period of month or period of a year. Okay, all these are available in SAP. Okay, in S4HANA, we are having a new technology, that is Fiori. In Fiori, we have mobility option also, where you can use your mobiles and capture all the details. Like if you want to approve a PO, you can approve it, or you want to create, you can create it. Everything available in Fiori. Okay, in S4HANA, this is the latest advantage for Fiori, and there are many differences happened in Fiori. I mean S4HANA and ECC. In ECC we have vendor master, but in S4HANA we have business partner. Okay, business partner can be a customer, business partner can be a vendor, business partner can also be a employee, because employee is also a vendor for the organization. They need to do the payment as a salary is also payment for the organization. So this is all clubbed and created as a business partner in S4HANA. Not only that, there are other new functionality also available in S4HANA. There are new tables which have come up in S4HANA. Like for earlier in ECC, we have MKPF, MSEG tables for goods receipt. But in S4HANA, we have only one unique table, MATDOC, where it captures all the details. Okay, there are other new functionality also available in S4HANA, like if you take stock upload programs. Earlier in ECC we have LSMW, but in S4HANA we have LTMC tools, where the standard templates are provided by SAP. You just need to provide that templates to the user. They'll fill it and provide it to us. We'll just upload this template to SAP to create the master data or the stocks automatically by the SAP. Okay, these are the new features available in S4 HANA. So this is about the today's topic. If you have any questions, you're open for asking questions.